Hello, Professor. I'm Kaiying, and today I would like to talk about the first three questions in my old presentation. So the first question I want to answer is the absolute in the Romanticism. I think there's one significant example of absolute is the poem The Infinite. So in the Infinite this poem, the author used lots of imagination instead of the things that we can touch in the real world or we can see in the real world. For example, the description of he's thinking about the deepness, peace, and the dead season. He could communicate with the sky and sitting beside the sky and imagine the world is completely silent and he can drown his own sword in the sea because this like we couldn't drunk our sword in the sea and couldn't we definitely could not touch the sky and there's no place is deepness peace and silence. So I think all of this description is his own imagination and is beyond his own limits, beyond the time, beyond the space, and beyond the things he could solve. I think he could have this much of imagination description is like mentioned in the lecture. The author is almost blind in blindness. He couldn't see anything, almost couldn't see anything when he like the later time of his life. So when people have lost one feeling, his mind will, his brain will come up, imagine more to like fill up what he's losing, the one feeling he's losing. And also another example of absolute is the lake. In the lake, we the author have lots of description about asking the lake whether you still remember we came here before, and whether uh, and he's keep asking the lake and try to communicate with the lake. But we could know that the lake couldn't speak. The lake do not have memory, so this is all in his own imagination. So, and the second question I want to answer is the realism. Realism and the example. First of all, realism in the literature is using the real in detailed description instead of using imagination and decorative language to describe something. For example, in the overcoat, there's lots of detailed description, such as describing the clock. He was short, somewhat pockmarked, and reddish hair, and his eyes. And also, when they're describing the porter, describe something like far from getting up from his seat when he came in. And there's another example is in the poem, in the play, the cherry orchard. In the polyglot, the first italic line to describe the background, it describe about the door leads into Anya's room. The window are short. The window are shut. So all of this description is in detail and is not something we read before in imagination, such as the natural is ugly, my memory is straight down another day, and the ill winds blows. This is all in imagination because how can we say that what is the action of our memory? The action of memory is in our brain, and it's not something we could see about it, and we could see how what's the action of it and how it is moving. The third question is awareness of time for rider. So the first example I choose is the lake. The author describes something like only 1 year after, and he's asking the lake why only 1 year after when he came to the lake. The wheel has not changed, but the person who came here is changed. The second example is line composed a few miles above Trinity Abbey by Woodworth. So this poem is also express the same feeling of the first example, he's talking about a 5 year have passed, 5 summer, with the length of 5 long winter, where he saw all the same views again, but the people who came here is changed. Both of them is coming along. The first time they come with their lover, but 5 years after, or only 1 year after, when they came here, their lover is gone, or their lover is unable to come here again. So these two authors, maybe they can come to this lake or this wheel again and again, but the person who came with them before will not be able to come here anymore. So the charm over here is all talking about they're missing. They are missing their lover. They are missing when they came here, how they came here and playing um the time they spent in here together. The third example I would do is in Chu himself. They also talk about rest forever. So this description is, I think, is like pretty permiss- pessimistic, pessimistic, because you could, like, when someone talk to me about like you can rest forever, I'll feel like your life is so tired, so you want to like when you are dead, you finally got a chance to rest, and you in your normal life, rest is so valuable, like you could not get a chance to have a rest. So I think this is showing how author's feeling about that in this poem. The fourth example I would like to change into a realism description. For example, still in the overcoat, he I think in the realism like in the realism, the author is trying to use time to describe the description of time to show how what is their status. For example, in the overcoat, they also want to talk about the status, the differences between status in the society, and also something like um, when when in the society there's lots of corruption happens. So there's some descriptions such as a morning 10 o'clock, when the clock come to the commissioner home. The people told them the commissioner is asleep. But at 11 o'clock, they told them the commissioner is not at home. So this definitely showing the commissioner don't want to talk to him, or do not want to keep in touch with him. So so that's impossible that 1 hours after, the commissioner is not at home, but 1 hours before, the commissioner is still asleep. Also, when the clock is dead and his bird burned 3 days ago, people in his office just got the message that he's dead. So no one is care about this poor low status clock, the clock. But in the next day, new clock replaced his space. So in the society, no one is care about the poor old old clock, but everyone is care about the clock's space, the position, like his job in the society, in the office. So this is how the author is showing about when you have a low status in the society, no one is cares about you, and no one want to meet with you and talk to you, and no one cares about you. And that's all my presentation. Thank you.